So you're ready to really level up your project management career, huh? Well, today we're pulling back the curtain on the PMP, which is honestly one of the most powerful credentials you can get. If you've ever found yourself wondering what it really takes to get certified, and if that big investment of time and money is truly worth it, you're in the right place. Okay, let's just jump right in with the big one. Why should you even bother? What in the world does 33% mean? Well, get this. That is the median salary increase for project managers who have a PMP certification versus those who don't. That is a massive career boost. And you know what? It's really just the beginning of the story. To make this super clear, we've laid everything out like a roadmap for your journey. First up, we'll talk about the payoff. Is this whole PMP thing really worth it? Then, we're going to break down the total investment, both your money and your time. After that, we'll decode the exam itself, so you know exactly what you're walking into. We'll also tackle the three main areas of knowledge you've got to master. And finally, we'll hand you a winning study strategy to get you across that finish line. So let's start with the destination in mind. Is this journey actually worth all the effort? We already saw that incredible salary number, but believe me, the true value of the PMP goes way, way deeper than just your paycheck. You know, this quote just says it all. The PMP isn't just another piece of paper. It's like a universal language in the business world. Just imagine walking into a job interview, maybe even in another country. Your PMP certification does the talking for you. It's this globally understood signal that you have an elite, verified level of skill when it comes to leading projects. Think of the PMP as your passport to a global career. It's recognized in over 190 countries, and it just flings open doors to senior leadership positions. But what about the demand? The numbers here are just mind-boggling. The world is going to need almost 88 times million project management pros by 2027. So this isn't just about a certificate. It's about building rock-solid professional credibility in a field that's absolutely exploding. All right, so the destination is definitely worth it. Now, let's get real. Every big journey needs some investment, right? So let's break down exactly what you'll need to pack for this trip. We're talking both money and your time. First up, the exam fee. And hey, here is your first pro tip, so listen close. Become a member of the Project Management Institute, or PMI, before you register. Seriously. The member cost, which actually includes your first year of membership, is way less than the non-member fee. We're talking a clear savings of $131 that you can turn right around and put towards your study stuff. Plus, as a member, you get a free digital copy of the PMBOK guide, which is an absolutely essential resource. But hold on, there's a little more to it. The exam fee is really just the starting line. You also have to factor in the cost of a 35-hour training course, and that's a mandatory prerequisite. On top of that, you'll definitely want to budget for some good study materials and exam simulators. And look, we all aim to pass on the first try, but it's just smart to know what the retake fee is. It really, really pays to be prepared. Now for the other huge investment, your time. Most people who pass the exam spend somewhere between 150 and 200 hours studying. I mean, think of it like training for a marathon. You wouldn't just roll out of bed and show up on race day without putting in the miles, right? The PMP is exactly the same. It takes a serious, dedicated effort spread out over a few months. Okay, so you know the investment. Now let's get into the main event, the exam itself. You know, understanding the map is the very first step to navigating any new territory, and the PMP is no different. Let's just look at the raw numbers. You've got 180 questions to answer in 230 minutes. If you do the math, that's about 77 seconds, so a little over a minute for each question. What that really means is you have zero time to second-guess yourself. You have to be confident and be able to apply what you know fast. And you better get ready to think in some different ways, because this is not your standard multiple-choice test. No way. You're going to be dealing with multiple response questions, matching concepts, dragging and dropping things in the right order, and even clicking on specific spots in a diagram. It's all designed to test your real hands-on knowledge. And this, right here, is probably the most important thing to know about the exam. It is not about memorizing definitions. You need to think of yourself as a detective. Every single question gives you a case, a real-world project scenario, and then it asks, okay, you're the project manager. What is the best thing to do next? It's not about what's in your head. It's about how you use what's in your head to make smart decisions. Okay, so we've got the format down. Now let's dig into the content. The entire exam is structured around three core knowledge areas that PMI calls performance domains. If you can master these, you are well on your way to passing. This chart right here, this is your secret weapon for studying smart. Just look at this breakdown. Process and people together make up a massive 92% of your final score. That tells you exactly where to focus the bulk of your energy. First, let's talk about the people domain. This is all about the human element of projects, those soft skills that are so important. We're talking leadership, managing conflict, engaging stakeholders. So the exam won't just ask you to define conflict resolution. No, it's going to give you a scenario where two of your best team members are butting heads, and it'll ask you, as the PM, what is the best first step to take to sort it out. Next up is the biggest piece of the pie, process. This is the technical stuff, the planning, the risk management, quality, budgets, the whole shebang. But here's what's absolutely critical to get. This domain is split right down the middle between two ways of thinking. You need to be totally fluent in traditional, predictive methods, people call it waterfall, where you plan everything up front, and you also need to master modern, adaptive approaches like Agile, where you work in quick cycles and roll with the punches. And finally, we have the business environment domain. Now, even though it's only 8% of the exam, this is the part that turns a good project manager into a great project leader. You have to think of your project like it's one piece of a giant company puzzle. This domain tests if you can see how your little piece fits into that big picture, making sure your work delivers real strategic value. Okay, you've got the map, you've packed your bags, you know the terrain. Now it is time for the final climb, putting together your winning strategy to absolutely crush this exam. The logic here is so simple, but it's incredibly powerful. Your study plan has to mirror the exam's structure. Spend about half your time on process, a little less than half on people, and then a small focused chunk on the business environment. Whatever you do, don't get lost in the weeds on that 8% and neglect the 92% that's actually going to determine whether you pass or fail. Come exam day, time management is your best friend. Here's a proven strategy that tons of successful PMPs use. It's called the 80-80-70 rule. See, the exam is split into 3 60-question sections with 2 breaks. So you aim to spend 80 minutes on that first block and 80 on the second. That leaves you with a solid 70 minutes for the final push, giving you this crucial buffer to go back and review any questions you flagged. It totally takes the stress out of watching the clock and just lets you focus. All right, before you walk into that testing center, let's run through one last checklist. 1. Have you been using high-quality, realistic exam simulators? They are a game changer. 2. Are you focusing on understanding the why behind everything instead of just memorizing words? 3. Have you built up your mental stamina by sitting through full-length 4-hour practice exams? And finally, and this might be the most important, are you getting enough sleep? Don't cram. Resting is a strategic part of your prep. Look, let's be honest. The PMP journey is a big deal. There's no question about it. But the payoff in your career growth, your credibility, your earning potential, it's undeniable. The path is laid out, the tools are all there, and you'd be joining this massive global community of over 1.6 million pros. So the only real question left is the one you see right here.